B, as part of number 1, is you'll write down anything you didn't accomplish. So you know this week I need to put that on my capture list to handle it. Step 2 within stage 3, when you're making your weekly plan, look at your projects. What are the things I need to make sure I do this week? Are there some things that need to be part of that capture list? Step 3, build an RPM master plan for your week. 1, capture it. 2, create your RPM blocks. I gave you a way to do that by looking at your categories to stimulate your thinking. 3, commit. By the way, here's how that works. If you have the sheet in front of you, you'll see a commit sheet. On the left side, it has a set of lines. And what you do on that left side is you write down an outcome. Now, by the way, there's not a lot of room there. So if I do my week, I might end up with 12 or 14 blocks. I number them so they're easy to remember what they are. And sometimes I create a keyword for them. So I write down outcome number 1, block number 1, which is make major progress on my infomercial. I'll say outcome number 1, infomercial. And then I say, okay, what days am I going to work on this? And I go, on Monday, I'll work on it for 2 hours. On Thursday, I'll work on it for an hour. Then I look at outcome number 2 and I write it down. And it's to make major progress on my physical body. And I say, I'm going to do that for an hour a day every day. And I write an hour on Monday, an hour on Tuesday, one HR all the way across. And you'll see that sample. And then I come up with the next one. And what's nice about that is you can add them up, or if you have the computer software, it does it for you. And you'll see on one day you have 22 hours booked, and another one you have 3 hours. So before you schedule things, you'll have the big picture. And you'll say, no, I need to move a few of these things before I ever go to planning my days. Remember when I told you earlier that you'd understand more about committing when we got to the weekly planning process? If you look at that sheet, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Now, again, if you've been listening to me verbally, you're probably confused. So just look at the sheet later on, you'll understand it, okay? And then what do you have to commit? You schedule it. How do you schedule things? Real simple. You look at Monday on your commit sheet, and you say, I'm going to work on outcome number 1, number 4, number 7 on Monday. You turn to Monday, the 7th of whatever month it is, and you write in the capture sheet, outcome number 1 from the week, outcome number 4, and outcome number 7. You close the book and forget about it. When you get to that day, you look up outcome 1, 4, and 7. You'll say, do I want to do these? What else did I say I wanted to do or accomplish? What are my most important outcomes? And you'll write them out then for the day. You don't plan your days when you're planning your weeks. It'd be overwhelming. Besides that, you're not there yet. You just take the things from your week and commit them to the capture of certain days. I'm running through this very rapidly. If you're confused about it, please turn to your manual. It'll be very, very simple. Then we show you each step of the way. Now, what you do is you go through each day. So for example, you'll then look at Tuesday and say, okay, I've laid out on Tuesday. You'll glance at it when you're all done. You'll say, I said I was going to work on outcome 7, number 9, and number 10. You turn to Tuesday, the 8th of the month, and you write down in the capture section, outcome 7, 9, and 10. And it'll take you a couple of minutes to do that. Guess what will happen now? When you turn to your days, in your capture section, when you're going to go plan the actual day, when that day comes, you'll have 3 things or 4 things that are outcomes that are in your weekly planner. And you'll know to look those up and say, I want to work on these this day. Anything else you've captured will be in front of you. And then when you get to the day, you'll say, do I really want to do this today? What are my most important outcomes for this day? All right? So then you'll have accomplished the whole process. Now, the final part of stage 3 is that you want to make sure out of all the outcomes, all the stuff I've just talked about, what you want to look at is you want to look at that list and say, what are the top 3 things for me? What are the top 3 outcomes for the whole week? Or maybe if you're aggressive, the top 5. What are my top 3 maybe for my professional life and maybe my top 2 for my personal life? So if all heck broke loose and I just accomplished these 3 results this week, that'd be one heck of a week. So you're not pressured. You're not going to achieve all these outcomes every time. But if you're doing this, I can promise you one thing, you're going to make more progress than anybody around you ever dreamed of. Does that make sense? When you've done that, you finish stage 3. You say, Tony, this seems so cumbersome. Cumbersome to describe, easy to do. The more you do it, the better you get, the faster it goes. Pretty soon, it's like writing your name with half as many letters. What's the final stage? Stage 4, set yourself up to win. What does that mean? It means that number 1, you've got to schedule what I call your profound musts. What I mean by that is, out of all the things on your list, you picked your top 2 or 3. You need to lock those into your calendar. Otherwise, what will happen is things will show up and they'll fill up your schedule. And even though you have good intent, you won't achieve it. So you say, you know what? I'm going to block out the time on Tuesday from noon to 2 o'clock in the afternoon to get this thing done. I'm going to schedule it right now so that when someone says, can you meet on Tuesday at 12 o'clock? You say, no, I have an appointment there. because it's a profound must that's locked in place. Remember, I've said it again, if you talk about it, it's a dream, right? If you envision it, it's exciting. If you plan it, it's possible. But when you schedule it, it is real. And if we schedule in those profound musts, those top 3, 4, 5 things, and we lock them into your schedule, you will get them done. You'll get the result you're after. I'll give you an example of this. One week, my daughter, who was living in New York at the time, was coming back to San Diego, to La Jolla. And I knew she was only going to be home for a couple of days. And I really wanted to spend some time with her. And I knew she wanted to spend some time with me because she had some specific things she wanted to address in her career, in her finances. And plus, we just wanted to hang out together. So I thought, oh my gosh, my week is going to get so maxed. I've already got people calling, wanting to meet with me on every single day. So I called her up and I said, when do you want to meet, honey? And she said, well, you know what? Let's meet as soon as I get off the plane because I really want to meet with you. I want to do this right away. I said, okay, you got it. I said, we'll work on this stuff. We'll get it resolved. And we locked it in. Now, why was that important? Because otherwise, before I know it, she's only there for 2 days, I would have booked half my time. And the next thing you know, we'd been stressed. We wouldn't have locked in the time to be together. But there's another part of setting yourself up to win. And that's step 2 within that stage. And that's to anticipate the likely challenges and the barriers that are going to show up that week and resolve a strategy to be successful even if they show up. All this is being smart. One plan is not good enough. When it comes down to the most important things, you better have a backup plan. So I thought, what could screw this up? And I thought, you know what's going to happen? Jolie's going to fly for 6.5 hours from New York, right? And what's going to happen? She's going to get off that plane and she's going to be beat up and tired. And she's not going to feel like meeting. And I've locked out this time for 3 hours with her. And the rest of my schedule is going to be booked solid. And she's not going to want to meet. She's going to say, well, do you think we can meet later? And I don't want her to feel uncomfortable. So I thought, you know what I need to do? I need to have a backup plan. I need to find another time for this meeting. She's only there for 2 days. So I called her back and I said, are you sure you really want to meet right when you get off the plane? You're not going to feel like it. And she said, no, I really want to meet right afterwards. I said, honey, I don't think after 6 hours you're going to do that. She said, no, trust me, I will meet with you absolutely. I said, okay, you're locked in my calendar. And I kept her locked in. But I then picked up the phone and I called somebody in my office that I had a meeting with the following day in the afternoon. And I said, listen, I'd like to get your help on something. I said, we were going to meet on Friday, right? She said, yeah. And I said, at 2 o'clock? She said, yeah. I said, how about, what does your schedule look like on Thursday at 2 o'clock? She said, actually, I could do that if you wanted to change it. I said, I don't want to change it. I just want to keep an option open. And I'll do the same favor for you later. I said, my daughter's coming into town. She wants to meet with me right away, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think she's going to be burnt out. So is it possible I can call you at noon that day and say, well, let's get together and let's do the meeting today and move it up one day? Is that too short a notice? She goes, no, I could do that. I said, that's great. I said, otherwise we're on for Friday. Is that fair? She said, great, just let me know. So sure enough, my daughter got off the plane. She was totally bushed. She looked at me and she goes, I guess we're going to meet on that stuff, huh? I said, I told you you wouldn't want to do it. She goes, well, I just, maybe we could wait like an hour and a half or 2 hours. I said, honey, no problem. How about we don't even do it today? Why don't you recover, relax, sit by the pool, go down to the ocean? And I said, we'll meet on it tomorrow. We'll have dinner tonight, but we'll have our meeting tomorrow to go through these numbers and break all this stuff down for your career and for your finances. She said, oh my God, that'd be so great. Guess what? I got my profound musts because I was smart enough not only to schedule it, but to anticipate the challenges. And I'm telling you, that's how you make your life work. So let's quickly review. It sounds like a lot. Here's how fast it really is. Boom. I'm going to plan my week. I got a specific time I'm going to do it. It's my hour of power. Maybe a little bit longer for me, especially in the beginning. But hey, I'm planning 168 hours of my life. I'm planning what matters to me, my life this next week. So how do I do it? Step 1, connect to my driving force. What do you do there? Quick. Get your ultimate vision, your ultimate purpose. Think about why you're doing all this, what your life is really about. 5 minutes, envision it, think about it, picture it, feel it, get associated. Just like everything else in your life that you've turned into reality, it started with that dream and desire. Stage 2, enter in and own your categories, roles, and goals. What are you doing? Read them, envision them. Take a look at your vision, your mission, your goals for each of these categories. Just take the time to do it. Maybe it's 10 minutes. We've got maybe 10 or 15 minutes we've invested total. But we're focusing on what we really want and why we want it most. Does it make sense? And if you keep doing that on a weekly basis and you put real emotion into it, you're going to get it. You're going to drive towards what you want instead of what you fear. Stage 3, 4 steps. We want to make sure we create a weekly plan. To do it, number 1, we learn from the past. Top 10 goals. Maybe some magic moments. Anything we didn't accomplish last week so we can work on it. 2, review our projects. What do we need to work on this week? 3, Create our weekly RPM master plan. How? 5 steps. Capture. Create a set of RPM plans. Commit, right? Schedule it. And then, of course, complete, measure, and celebrate it. Step 4, pick out of all these blocks, pick your top 3. Maybe your top 5. 3 for your professional life, 2 for your personal life. Stage 4, set yourself up to win. Out of those top 2 or 3, figure out what time you're going to lock in, that nothing else can interrupt, that you're going to get these 3 things done. Or these 5 things done if that's what you want to do. Anticipate any challenges and handle them. The RPM Master Plan is really your plan for the week. This is the final results that you're committed to achieving this week. This is why you want to achieve these results, and this is how you're going to make it happen. And you know all this in advance. You're not trying to figure it out the day of or the night before and wondering why you're stressed. But you feel so different about your week when you've got an RPM plan for the week. Because that means right now up front, you know the most important results you're committed to achieving. You know why they're musts for you, and you know how you're going to do it. And you know you got lots of ways to get the job done. That flexibility and certainty gives you a whole different week. It sets you up for a different life. Wasn't that a lot faster that time? Took about 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes to describe it. And you know what? To do it, it'll take about an hour. Does that make sense? Is that better than just reacting to the environment? You bet it is. So finally, here's what I want you to do. Before you go plan a week, and by the way, how would you plan your week right now? You'd start with your vision. You might say, Tony, I don't know what my vision is. Sure you do. I'm going to just take a couple of minutes with you right now, and I don't want you to make this life and death. People say to themselves, like, what if I come up with the wrong vision or the wrong purpose for my life? I don't word it very well. I'll lose my whole life. Listen, if you don't have a vision now written down, what's the difference? Don't make it into a big deal. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and all I want you to do is maybe put on a favorite piece of music, put it on the background, and write down or just look at the card, and I want you to answer the questions that are on your card. And all you want to do, though, to do this is put yourself in a great state. So if you've been sitting still while you've been listening to me, I get up and I take a quick walk, or I'd breathe. I do a few jumping jacks. I put myself in a peak state. I get excited. You know how you feel when you anticipate something really great's going to happen? Here's what we're going to do real quickly. We're going to come up with 2 things on this tape. And on tape 10, we'll go through your code of conduct. I'll explain what that is, meaning the way you really want to live your life from that perspective and what we call power virtues. What I want you to do is come up with 2 things, really. What's your ultimate vision? Like, who are you going to be as a person? What are you going to stand for? And why do you want to be this person in life? Because that'll help you to fill in this first gap of your driving force. You might say, well, Tony, where do I put this in my planner? Well, there's a driving force section right at the very beginning. And all you have to do is put a little piece of paper in there and write this out, or you can type it out later. Right now, you can just put it in your journal or your workbook, because I'm sure you're going to refine this. So I want you to fill these 2 out. When we're done with this, when you've done your vision and you've done your ultimate purpose, I want you to plan a week. And don't worry about being perfect again. Simple. Just think about your vision. You don't have to write it perfectly. Picture, what do I want for my life? What do I want to accomplish? Who do I want to stand for? Who do I want to be? Where do I want to go? What do I want to give? Why do I want to do this? What do I think the purpose of my life is? What's my mission? Why was I put here? Why do I want to be this kind of person? What will it give me? What kind of feelings and emotions will this give me? Then I want you to go to stage 2. I want you to review your categories. Now, I know you've got categories for your personal and professional life. So read those categories, and hopefully you've gone through and at least done 3 things there. You've got an ultimate vision for the category, an ultimate purpose, and at least a 1-year goal, and hopefully a couple 1-year goals. So I want you to read those. And eventually, if you don't have it, you got to turn those 1-year goals into quarterly goals, and each of those will be broken down into RPM blocks or projects if they're big. Now, by the way, if you have the software, it does this for you automatically. It guides you through each one of these stages. You fill in your categories. It asks you for your roles. It asks you for what is your ultimate vision, your ultimate purpose. It says, okay, what are your 1-year goals? And what are your 90-day goals? And then it causes you to make those into blocks or projects. And those are directed directly into weeks or days as soon as you decide when you want to do things. So it's available for you in a couple forms. All I want you to do today is I want you to plan it. So stage 1, we're going to have you create your vision and your mission for your life. Stage 2, you're going to look at your categories, whatever condition they're in, and your goals. Stage 3, you're going to write down, what did you learn last week? What did you accomplish? What did you achieve? You're going to write down, what did you fail to achieve? You're going to look at the projects you have, and you're going to plan your week. Capture it all, create into RPM blocks. That'll take the most time initially because you're new at it. Commit to when you're going to do it, and get those things, those commitments into days. Write down the days you're going to actually work on those blocks. That's all you got to do. Then pick your top 3, schedule them, and anticipate any challenges and come up with a solution. Okay? Again, seems like a lot. I've said it 2 or 3 times to start kind of driving it into your mind. But pretty soon this will be second nature for you. You'll just be doing it automatically. And again, you'll be reinforced by the incredible results you'll have by having a week where you know your top 3 or 5 outcomes, where you aren't running around with a to-do list anymore. So those are your assignments, 2 assignments: ultimate vision, ultimate purpose. Second assignment, plan your week. And by the way, if you want some examples of how to plan your week or what a great week looks like, go to our website, which, by the way, if you're not familiar with how to reach us, you can go to robinsresults.com or come to one of the seminars and watch me take someone who is totally, completely overwhelmed out of their mind and watch them 45 minutes later, an hour later, where they go, heck, that's easy. What I thought was going to take me forever is going to take me a lot less time. I made these things so much bigger in my head than they really needed to be. I can handle this week, and I'm going to achieve more than I ever did before. That's the kind of thing that happens when you start doing this process. So ultimately, what we want to start with is, what is your ultimate vision for who you are as a person and what you stand for? I call that your identity. So I'll just give you an example of my own, and I'm not suggesting this is the right one for anyone. This is just for me. I wrote down, I'm an extraordinary loving man who loves God, people, family, friends, ideas that make a difference. I love to discover, to create. I love nature, mountains, oceans, streams, sunshine, rain. I'm a passionate man who takes life's good and magnifies it and shares it openly, lovingly, passionately, and playfully with others. I'm a source of massive inspiration to millions of people. I'm someone you can count on to do the right thing. I'm an instigator of good, of joy, of good works, of creativity, of higher standards. I'm a creator of possibilities, of options, of solutions, of choices, of visions. I'm a creator of magic moments. I'm an example of what's possible. I'm an outstanding father, friend, strategist, marketer, businessman, student, teacher, husband, speaker, writer, visionary, strategic planner, therapist, synthesizer, and I'm extremely humble. I'm fun, right? And I'm a mover and shaker of possibility. I am a grateful man. I'm an athlete. I'm a force for good. I am a force for God. I'm a playful kid who will make you smile. These are the identities for myself. This is part of my vision for how I want to live my life. So I want you to first describe, who are you? What do you stand for? And by the way, I'm talking about who are you when you're at your best, not when you're beating yourself up, not when you're realizing what you're not accomplishing. Who are you at your best? Who are you really inside? Write down your paragraph right now. Welcome back. Now let's enhance that vision. Let's add to it. What is your ultimate vision? What's the ultimate result you want from your life? Who do you want to be in even more detail? Who are you going to become? So I put down, for me, I want to be a person who is truly a leader in the world, somebody who impacts tens of millions of people's lives through his incredible vision, determination, courage, compassion, creativity, and commitment to constantly improving the quality of people's lives worldwide. And then describe each of the specific results I want to see from my life. I want you to write down, not only now who are you and what do you stand for, but what else can you describe? What do you want to accomplish in your life? Write that down. What do you want to achieve ultimately in your life? What do you want to give? What do you want to create? What specific results do you want your life to reflect? So start out with the general ones as I did, and then come up with your specifics. Do that next. Turn off the tape. Do it now. Okay, one final question. Ultimately, why are you doing all this? What's your ultimate purpose in life? Why are you here? Mine is to humbly serve our Lord by being a loving, powerful, and passionate example of the unlimited possibilities that life offers to any of us the moment we acknowledge and rejoice in our Creator's gifts and sincerely love and serve all His creations. See, that's just what drives me. What drives you? Why do you want to do this? And I put what drives me is also under my purpose. I wrote down love, friendship, making a difference, impact, connection, doing significant things that improve the quality of life, laughter, fun, growth, choices, improving, beauty, desire, being the best I can possibly be, supporting. And I had another one, sex. So when you write down your purpose, write down why ultimately are you here on earth and what really drives you. What are some of the emotions that'll drive you? This will help you to discover your true driving force. When you're done with this, you're done with this tape. So go ahead and do that now, and then I will see you tomorrow for session number 9 of the 10 days. You are coming down to the final stages. You are going to be one fast-track strategic planner, a master of not only your time, but your life. Till tomorrow, I'll look forward to seeing you then. Go out, create your plan, finish your vision, finish your ultimate purpose. And I'll see you tomorrow for our decision-making and problem-solving session. Till then, this is Tony Robbins saying, live with passion.